Have a great conversation tonight specifically about competition and if we have competition, because a lot of you guys know I don't talk about competition. I don't believe in competition. I truly believe that we are all doing the same thing, so how can we be in competition? A lot of you guys acknowledge that you have competition, and I don't really understand why, because I'm from a sports background. So my degree's in kinesiology. I played basketball all the way through college. I truly know I was a student athlete from the third grade all the way through my college career. So I understand what competition is. But somehow in our industry, we have titled other estheticians who do exactly what we do as competition, not realizing that they do the same thing we do. We're really the only industry that will label a fellow Esty, and we're the only people that do that. You go and you look at doctors and dentists and nurses, they don't call their fellow nurses and doctors and dentists competition. But we do. We do. As soon as we find out another esthetician, she's my competitor. No, we all do the same thing. So why do we say we're in competition with each other? I'm really confused, because I think if we could take the energy off of thinking other estheticians are our competition, we really would have a lot more energy to focus on what we do and to do it best to our customers. So when you talk about yourself in reference to another esthetician, why do you reference yourself to other estheticians? That's one thing that I think I've done pretty well, is I never put any energy on what anyone else is doing, because truly I don't have time to focus on what someone else is doing. So when I think of things in that way, I really kind of take a step back and just say, if I continue to put the same energy into my business that I've always done, and even more, then I don't have time to focus on what other people are doing. It's only until someone else brings it to my attention that someone else is doing something. I don't on purpose go looking for it. And I think that's where a lot of the focus comes back on, and the business side really kicks in for me, is because I don't want to focus on what other people are doing, because that will deflect my focus on what I'm trying to do. But we don't do that. We want to go send in surveillance, and we want to do undercover work and see, okay, well, what are they offering and what products are they doing, and da, 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 da. The minute you take that step, then it's a whole different ball game, because the energy has shifted from your business, your focus, your passion, you as an esthetician, to that other esthetician. And then when we see something we don't like, it's automatic, oh, she's my competition. She's using the same products that I'm using. She's using the same wax. So what? Who cares? Why do you give them that much energy? And let's talk about that. Let's talk about how clients have an option of going to other estheticians. And I always say the story, and people laugh when I say the story, but I'm really honest when I talk about it, because I think if we had a different spin on what we say in regards to other estheticians, a lot of things would be very different. So when I first started working by myself as an esthetician, and I raised my Brazilian waxing products, my Brazilian wax service price, a lot of people started to challenge that, because they couldn't understand why I was so much more expensive. And I was the first one to say, because at that time when I first started, I, had someone who was also an esthetician who I knew of, and I had no problems referring them. So for me, it was very simple. So when a client would come to me and say, well, next door, I can get a Brazilian wax for 65, but you charge 95. And I said, oh, honey, absolutely. I would grab my phone. Do you want me to make an appointment for you? I know her number. What day is good for you? Because it wasn't about that she was doing what I was doing. I was asking and commanding a price that I felt was fair. I also know and had a lot of confidence in my service. So if someone wanted to challenge me on my price and say I can literally walk next door and get the same service for less, okay, go ahead. Oh, all right. I sure did. I got my phone. I have her number. What's your name? I'm sorry, what's your name? Let me go ahead and make an appointment for you. Again, if a client's going to come into me and never come to me before and only judge me based off my service price, they're not my customer. Because if they understood the bigger totality of it, I was still in business. People are still paying that price. They're paying it obviously for a reason. If I had nobody and never was there, that's one thing, but that's not the case. So to know that someone really said, okay, well, I would love to go next door because, I can get it cheaper. I literally would take my phone and call and say, I will make you an appointment. And I only had to really do that probably 3 or 4 times. And it's funny because the story that I say that to, the esthetician actually went, or the client actually went over there and got a service and then came back. So, and she had to kind of, eat crow a little bit and just say, now I understand why you command what you command. And I'm sorry that, I had to put you in that situation. And I told her, I said, it had really nothing to do about putting me in a situation. I was okay with it. Truly. I truly understood, because there are some people who just can't afford it. Not to say you should never get that service, but I had an option for you. And it wasn't about that esthetician is my competition. She's literally next door. She does everything that I do. It wasn't really about that. I knew exactly and I still do know what I offer. I know myself. I'm comfortable with myself. I understand the service I offer and what you will get and why you pay that price. Estheticians all do facials. We all wax or sugar, and we all apply makeup. Some of us can do laser, some of us can't. Why then do we talk crazy to each other and truly think that, well, you're trying to steal my idea? I'm not going to say it because you're going to then try to steal my idea. There are billions of people in this world. What? What? I don't know. And I think for me, it's funny because I sit back and I watch and I just say, wow, I wonder if that person put all of that energy into their own business, where would they be? And I say this all the time. Our mastermind group is going phenomenal, and I'm actually proud of a lot of them because I'm keeping them so busy that they don't have time to go and chit chat in all these other groups because they're doing their homework to better their business. So when you have people who just focus on what they're doing, you see the change in them. You see the change in the way they speak. You see the change in their business. You see all these changes that happen. It's because they focus on themselves. Typically, most of our clients are with us because of our personality. Think about it. Every single esthetician does the same thing. The reason they return to ours is a lot of things. It's the cleanliness of our location, how we speak to them, how they feel when they're there, how they feel when they're not there, how we communicate with them. All of those things take place in and outside of our business, but all have to do with how we communicate in our personality. So if you know that and you're not coming to them with an attitude, it's different. When you acknowledge them as competition, they truly are, and they truly become in your mind and in your energy, your competition. So when you know that you have a service that your clients like, they love your personality, they like what you offer, they like your location, they like you, that's what you focus on doing more of. Not going out and seeing how much they're charging for a Brazilian or how much they're charging for a facial or how much they're charging down the street. Who cares? And this is going to go way farther because I'm going to hit some toes now. Those of you who are still fussing about nail salons, let it go. The nail salons have been waxing brows and lips forever. They're going to continue. Let it go. So when you really think about marketing is telling your clients on a regular basis exactly the services that you offer, how they can make an appointment, when they can come and see you, where you're located, how they can look over your services, how they can get in touch with you. When you think of it in that way, then none of that has to do with anyone else but you. Which is why my mastermind classes, and those of you guys who are in it, I could drive home, focus on how much you communicate with your customers. If you don't communicate with them, they have no idea what you offer, when you offer, how to get a hold of you. If that's marketing, and that has to be done all the time. This topic is very passionate for me because I think we get so lost in focusing on competition and bleeding it over into other areas of our business that we have no idea how much it truly affects our business. But it's sad when you think about what our industry could be and what it's not, because we don't know how to communicate with each other. We don't know how to uplift each other. We don't know how to encourage each other. We are so starved for any kind of accolade that it's easier for us to be negative to a fellow SD than it is to praise them. But it's nice to have, you show something and people just cheer you on and say, "Good job, keep going." That's a nice feeling. And it's something that we all need. And when we know that we need it, we again want to go back to that place where we got that same feeling again. And that's just human nature in general. And I know tonight is real talk, and some people just, they can either handle it or they can't, which is fine. But I think a lot of us need to understand we are not in competition with each other at all.